It was Config 2026 yesterday, and today I opened my Figma and I realized that a couple of stuff has been changed since then. I would like to try and see what are the new features that I get access as a beta version. I would like to share this experience with you. This is the first time I'm opening my Figma after Config 2026. Therefore, it's the first time I'm experiencing using all this stuff. So it's going to be the first hand experience I'm sharing with you. First thing I realized in my Figma is the new mode down here. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see the motion. Of course, it's in a beta version, as I said, which I find it very cool update and the collaboration with my Figma and modify. You can switch between basically motion and your design, or in the draw mode or dev mode very easily using this tab. And I feel like they made a very good place for this option. So you can find or switch between different tools easily in your Figma design. And it does make sense. Now we have one space for designing our stuff. We have one space for illustration and vector design and development part, and more user interface design tools. So the separation works very well and it's very logical. If you switch to the motion, you can see that the UI is changing slightly. Down here we have our timeline, which does make sense when it comes to creating motion. It's very important to have this timeline. One of the things that I kind of imagined when I saw in config Figma release this new feature, or Figma Motion in particular, was that now we have the possibility to create motion graphic design directly within the Figma, use it in our design, and even most probably in the future, create more interactive motions. This means now we have something between Rive and After Effects within our design, Figma design ecosystem, so we don't have to switch between different tools, which is very cool and good news for me. I'm very excited about. So just to see how the things are working, I'm going to make one random size frame. Let's randomly drag and drop my cursor on my design canvas and make one frame. I don't want to even rename it. Let's make one very simple motion example. So I'm going to make one shape, a circle in the center. Maybe let's change it to black. Of course, when I opened this, I noticed the next update that came with the new release that Figma had, and that's going to be the shader. And you can see this tooltip, which is explaining, but I'm going to get back to it in a couple of seconds. So for now, let's continue and build a very simple motion. So before we go further, I also noticed that the menus here slightly change when you switch to the motion design or Figma motion. And now you can add keyframes to every properties that we have on the design, including the height and width of our elements, the position of our element, even the rotation and appearance as well. So opacity and everything. That's very cool. Yeah, even the feel here. So we can even animate the color of our elements. So let's try. First thing I want to do is that I want to make animation or a couple of keyframes for the position of this circle. So I would like that this shape start from the left and move to the right side of my canvas. So I position it in the left side. I put the pin of my timer in the 0 second. And here, I see this actually, I feel like this is going to auto keyframing. So let's turn this on. Most probably when I turn on this option here, if you see it here, the toggle for auto framing, if I change any properties, so first of all, of course, I need to move in my time a little bit forward, like 400 milliseconds, let's say, and then change the position of this element to the right, and maybe scale it a little bit. Oh, sorry, that was a wrong handle. Let's see if I can Scale it, yeah. So in the timeline, you can see that automatically it's created a position and a scale keyframes, and it's stored the changes that we has. So the position has been changed from a specific property to a specific value to specific values. And if we start to play the animation now, we most probably see that the circle or the shape is going to have scale animation and position animation. So let's play it. Okay, that's very cool. So we made a very smooth animation. I somehow see some sort of lag here in between. Like maybe I need to change the FPS, frame per second. I'm not sure about that, but we will come back to it later, maybe in another video. I just wanted to try these new features. There are a lot of other stuff I see here. Separated dimension. What does that even mean? Let's separate it. Yeah, okay. So you can individually add keyframe to specific properties related to your dimension. That's also, yeah, one feature. I would like to add also another keyframe here to the color. So it starts with the black. I would like to end up having a red square. Let's see if this is going to work. That's also a little bit weird actually, but I don't know why the initial keyframe changed. Oh yeah, okay, now it's working. So it starts from black to red. So we can add a keyframe to fill as well. I saw in the keynote of the Config 2026 that you can even add keyframe to your shader. So let's add one new fill. I would like to use this new feature shader. I don't know what can we do with it, but let's see. Okay, it's basically a bunch of effects. Let's, for example, add this water and see what we're going to get here. I choose this option for now. Nothing changed, I guess, because I don't have any. Yeah, maybe I made a mistake. I had to add it to. Sorry, it's a 20%. So let's increase the opacity to 100%. I still don't see the effects here, but I assume it's because, okay. No, it wasn't loading, actually. Now that the shader is loaded, I can see that I have this water effect over my original fill that I had. I can reduce the opacity here to see the color below it as well. There are a bunch of course, properties that we can play around for each shader, like a scale. I don't know, the phase. You must be familiar with this kind of stuff when it comes to shader in other tools such as the After Effects or Blender. So now actually I had the auto keyframing on, so I changed some properties here for this shader. Most probably it's automatically going to animate it. And yeah, you can see that we have now some sort of smoky effect. It's a little bit slow, I have to admit. I feel like I have a lot of lag, but it might be because I'm recording at the same time on my same system, so the performance might be a little bit low. I don't know, I will try it later again. So shader, new feature. The Figma motion was a new feature and very cool actually to play around. Now I switch back to the design. I see there is one warning here or something. Small layer may have low shader resolution. Okay, that's interesting. Let's delete this object for now. I would like to write down my name here. Let's make it bold, and I would like to have all characters capital. Then let's scale it a little bit bigger. The next new update that I would like to talk about is, of course, the effects. If you go to Effect tab here by clicking at the effect, and if you scroll down in the drop-down menu that is getting open, there is again this new shaders that you can apply on your frame. The cool thing about the shader is that you can apply it on your parent frame, and every child layer within your parent layer is going to get affected by this effect. So let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, we have this outline, we have lens distortion, and the other stuff. So I would like to try maybe the outline. Yeah, it's a little bit slow to load the effects and everything. I can see that, but you can see that it's basically creating the outline effect. And it was so cool that it's dynamically going to change based on the content that you have within your frame. For example, if I change my name, you can see that it's gonna follow the effect that has been applied over the parent layer, frame 1 in this case. And that's very cool. The next is that we add another shader. It's possible to add multiple shaders over each other. So for example, in this case, let me see if I can add, for example, not sure. Let's add this pixel stretch. I'm not sure if in this case it's going to work. Okay, you can see that you can stretch a specific part of your design between 2 points, which is again very cool. Especially, I mean, in this case we don't have a nice example, but if we have a special image that we want to stretch one part of it, this effect is going to be very helpful. But the cool thing is that you can add multiple effects on top of each other. You can hide one. You can again bring it back later on. And it's going to be applied on your layers, meaning that you can have all your auto layout feature applied on those layers and build your layout the way that you want and apply this effect and shaders above those stuff. The next thing that I saw in the config was that the fact now we can use the AI to generate our own shaders. So if I would like to have something very special, I can just click on create shader and then use the agent within the Figma, as you can see, to create shaders. So now the agent integrated within the Figma has more responsibility to create the tools even that we're going to use in the Figma to generate visuals. There are also a bunch of other stuff that you can use the agent within the Figma. And I would like to use this chance to talk about the next part of the new updates of Figma, which is the tool section. So in the tool section, you can find plugins, which you used to have it in the action menu down here. Let me show you again. So we had this action menu, and in the action menu, we have this plugins and widget tab. There you can basically search for your plugin. This was very usual way of finding the plugin that we need for our design. But now we have it as a tool. The difference is now you can have a bunch of tools that you have built for yourself, for your file, that everyone else also can use it. And you can also use the Figma agent to create your plugin, so you don't have to, code anything, use, complex logic for your backend and build some plugins that are doing some stuff. Here, you can just ask the agent that what you need. It can be simple stuff. It can be a little more complex. And Figma is going to create, and you can share it with your teammates here in this section. There are also a bunch of presets here you can see right now. Many of them comes from Figma Weave, and that's another update. You can also make reusable workflow using the nodes in the Figma Weave and the AI, of course, to create the pipelines and workflows that are going to generate you a specific image or manipulate the visuals that you have. And the cool thing is that you can convert them as a tool and reuse them again and again. There are a lot of good examples. I will put the link to the keynote of the Figma in the description of this video that you can watch yourself. But I found it very useful. There are so many small new features within the Figma that I personally find them very cool, including, for example, using the agent to generate visuals directly within your Figma design file, which is not a new thing actually, but now everyone has access to it. However, the features like, for example, if I make a new chat here, make a plugin, you can see that I made one new chat. I can also create multiple chat at the same time, so multiple agent work for applying or doing a specific task. And the other cool thing is that you have possibility to define the chat access for your basically conversation with the agent. So you can say that this conversation must be shared within the team, or you can keep it private so you only have access to it. So you can even share your chat with your teammate that they can follow the same basic conversation that you had with the agent to continue building on what you have built. So these are very cool stuff. And again, if you navigate through the Figma UI, you can find also these many small stuff that got improved. I got a little bit disappointed that there were not much new stuff regarding the agentic design systems, like how you can have more automated pipelines to create and manage your libraries to avoid having so many manual stuff. Of course, the Figma MCP server is now working very well using the other AI models. And there is now this code layer, which is a new feature. But I could see obviously that the focus is not really in the product design, user interface design part of the Figma tools. And they trying to expand their territory over the other design fields. Let's see, maybe in upcoming months, we see also some small updates that kind of is more relevant to user interface and UX design. And that was it for now. I do not have access to the other features. Whenever I got the access, I would definitely share my experience using them. So thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video.